How's it going, my truant people? DrSlaking, the Slacking Doctor, back on Pokemon Showdown for week 2 of Owl. This week we're going up, excuse me, against my man Haz. You can see his team right now on the screen in front of you. If you're wondering where my face cam is, it's coming soon for the replay, don't worry. But we're going to have to change up the way that we do things on the channel. If you guys know me personally or follow me on Twitter, I may have mentioned it. I'm having a lot of trouble uploading videos that are much more than sort of 15-20 minutes long. So we're trying to slimline the video process at the minute and make everything a little bit faster. So I'm going to try and not ramble as much, which is difficult for me. A part of that is going to be very, very fast team builders at the start of videos and less editing. Not that I do a lot to begin with, but there we go. So this week going up against Haz, member of Team Skull. Going into this week, the Bellowing Children, the team that I'm a captain of with Steven and Aquarius. Currently, we are 2-1 going into this week, meaning we won the first week 2-1, so we are 1-0 for our overall record. Team Skull are in our division and are also 1-0 with the two teams in our division that won their first weeks, essentially. So this really is an early kind of tiebreaker to see who's going to emerge as the early favourites to top our division, which is really, really interesting and makes it such an intense thing. If you guys haven't already seen Aquarius' side of the battle, their channel will be linked down in the description. They did play before me this week, so I will be spoiling their result and any connotations that might have for my game. So please, 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 if you haven't already, go and check out Aquarius' side of their battle. Click on that link in the description. I can't waste any more time because otherwise I won't be able to upload this. So we're going to move on very, very swiftly. Spoil it now. So Steven, I believe, played first this week against... No, I'm telling a lie. Aquarius played first. So Aquarius played Coach Oak first. I'm assuming you've been over there and watched that now if you want to. Aquarius won, beat Coach Oak. Bounced back after losing week 1, so very, very nice. Then Steven played before me against Cav, captain of Team Skull, and Steven actually just managed to pick up a win in that game as well. Super intense game, amazing game that was. A nice 1-0 win there, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. So then going into my game, the Bellowing Children were already 2-0 up against Team Skull. We had already won for this week. However, we wanted to, still kind of send as much of a statement as we could to the rest of the league by beating our nearest divisional rivals 3-0 if we could. Just trying to be a little bit more competitive this season and that kind of mindset. That being said, I really, really like Haz. I have all the time in the world for Haz. So it was a very friendly kind of battle. It wasn't super, that wasn't like a grudge match or anything like that. So this is Haz's draft. Let's move on. I need to be quicker. He has Mega Gallade, Tyranitar, Skarmory, Nidoqueen, Ribombee, Z Moltres, but only Z offensive Moltres, Celebi, Piloswine, Licky, Z Lantern, but I believe only status Z Lantern, and Z Noivern. Major threats that I had to be aware of: Mega Gallade, Tyranitar, Skarmory seemed to likely bring, Nidoqueen could be a problem. Didn't really worry too much about Ribombee. We'll discuss that in the replay. Moltres could have been a problem. Celebi I thought was an almost certain bring. Didn't really worry too much about Piloswine or Licky, nor Lantern. Did have a little bit of concern for Noivern. So let's jump into my team very quickly and what I built here. Hopefully you guys can see this okay on the screen. It's not super zoomed in, and I apologize for that, but there we go. So we have Aquarius as Salamence. This is the first week we're bringing Salamence with the Intimidate ability. And I should say as well, I don't think we're going to have a draft analysis video. I may have uploaded a draft announcement video where I just announced the members of our team because I can't... A video of the length of a draft analysis simply won't upload on my internet. I just can't upload videos that long anymore. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. But we'll figure something out. You guys may have already seen something by this point. But yeah, this is the first week we bring in Aquarius as Salamence with the leftovers, Intimidate ability, massive HP and defense, with the rest in Spadef. Why, you may be asking? This is our Mega Gallade check. Now, Mega Gallade, I believe, wants to be an SD set against me because of my speed tiers. It does outspeed everything on my team, barring Alolan Persian. And I believe that it wants to run Zen Headbutt, most likely for like my Nidoking, for my Terrakion. Although it could easily run close combat for my Terrakion, but it doesn't need to lower its defense if it can avoid it with the Zen Headbutt. I believe it needs to run close combat for potentially the Terrakion if it's not running Z Headbutt, for the Alolan Persian, for the Klinklang, for a couple of things like that. I also think that it wants potentially Poison Jab for the Togekiss or Zen Headbutt for the Togekiss, as well as Knockoff or X-Scissor for the Uniclus. What this means is that it really doesn't have a lot of room to run Ice Punch or Stone Edge, and if it does, then it gets checked by something else on my team, like the Togekiss, for example. So really, Mega Gallade has a 4 moveslot syndrome in this game, so Aquarius here as a defensive check to it. If nothing else, we just get to recycle Intimidates against it. Aerial Ace will 2-hit KO it. Never misses, which is nice. Not that it really matters, but there we go. And it's also kind of a lure to Skarmory. You may notice the relaxed nature means we drop our speed, so we bring Skarmory in and we Fire Blast it, reach longevity. This is not going as fast as I wanted to do, so I'm going to speed it up this time. Choice Scarf, Togekiss, Air Slash, Dazzling Gleam, Fire Blast, Baton Pass, Revenge Killer to the Mega Gallade with the Air Slash and Dazzling Gleam. Also Revenge Killer to the Noivern because we outspeed Noivern. Baton Pass for momentum, and also Fire Blast on there so we can catch that Skarmory. We want to wear it down as much as we can. Dean the Terrakion, Choice Banded. Nothing on his team wants to switch into Choice Banded Close Combat. Just literally nothing on his team. If we go back to this team, this is going to take like 2-hit KO after rocks, maybe. This is definitely going to get O-code, even with a Chopal, possibly, depending on the build. I don't know, maybe not, but still 2-hit code. This thing gets 2-hit code after rocks. This thing nearly gets 2-hit code after rocks. We just need a little bit of chip. I just didn't even think this thing existed, really. This thing doesn't really want to take, switch into a Terrakion. Are you crazy? You're going to get Stone Edged or Rock Solid. That's going to hurt a lot. This really is his main Terrakion check in Celebi. Piloswine, Licky, Lantern, and Noivern. None of them really long and live to Banded Close Combat. So that's the kind of thinking. With that in mind, once we saw his team, we could potentially hit X-Scissor if we thought the Celebi was coming in. We could hit Rock Slide if we thought the Moltres was coming in to try and snag a burn. Or we could hit Bulldoze if we thought the Nidoqueen was coming in. Bulldoze is also really nice, because once I've got some chip on some other things like the Mega Gallade, for example, I could potentially just Bulldoze and slow it down so that it does get 2-shot by the Bulldoze, but also can't try and outspeed me and hit me with a Zen Headbutt, which is really, really nice, or Close Combat. So Bulldoze was kind of a niche tech on there. It also meant that things like Scarf, Nidoqueen couldn't switch in on me and just then Earth Power me. I could Bulldoze if I wanted to protect the Nidoqueen and then negate its Scarf. So that's why we brought Bulldoze on there. Next up, Andrew. This is not going fast enough, is it? Max Defense Andrew. This is our Banded Tyranitar check. Banded Tyranitar just kind of beats this team. It's a terrifying mon. Yes, Terrakion can scare it out, but I mean, you can't always switch in a Terrakion onto a Banded Tyranitar. It's gonna destroy you with an Earthquake. So this thing switched in and basically lived any 2 hits with the leftovers. Potentially could try and get a Hypnosis off, or a Foul Play, or a Roar if we thought something was setting up. Really just here as utility. Andrew's just trying to put things to sleep and give us a nice Parting Shot pivot. I thought the Parting Shot would also scare him because we have a lot of setup sweeps on this team. Reuniclus, Terrakion, and Salamence. As well as Nasty Plot Togekiss potentially. So I really want to scare him with the Parting Shot and make him think that I'm going to set up on him with whatever I bring in, and maybe just force his hand a little bit with things like that. Next we have Reuniclus, and you may notice here there's an error where I have Overcoat. Has very kindly, I realised this before turn 1 of the game, and I said, I brought the wrong ability on Reuniclus, can I please change this? And he said yes, because he is a good guy, and I really appreciate that. As it happened, Overcoat would have done the exact same thing in the game. It didn't change anything as it happened, but we didn't know that at the time, so I really appreciate him doing that. This is a 0 speed IVs. Finally remembered that for once. Negative. I didn't do a negative speed nature. I'm an idiot. Like, I'm just fully an idiot. What is wrong with me? Anyway, this should have been a negative speed nature. Instead, it's modest. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess it means we take less from a foul play. We still undersped everything he brought. Meaning that we outsped it in Trick Room. So this was my kind of secondary win con. I wanted to beat everything down with Terrakion and then sweep at the end with Trick Room Reuniclus, or vice versa. Get rid of everything that was fast with Reuniclus and then sweep at the end with Choice Banded Terrakion. And my third kind of win con was Gypsy the Togekiss with the Scarf if need be, but I really, really didn't want to rely on that because Air Slash is inaccurate, and if you're relying on flinches, you're not playing that well. Dazzling Gleam isn't that powerful, even though we're modest, and Fire Blast is inaccurate and isn't even stab, so didn't want to depend on that if I could avoid it. Last up, Nidoking. This is a choice. This is a Focus Sash set. Sorry. The idea being, I thought he'd maybe lead Nidoqueen, and we could just fire off an Earth Power, guaranteed to live any one hit, and get enough chip on Nidoqueen where it's really not a Terrakion switch in anymore. And then there we go. That's one Terrakion switch in gone. Beautiful. T-Spikes and Stealth Rock, obviously they're just a hazard stack. Earth Power, as I said, to hit that Nidoqueen, and Flamethrower to hit that Skarmory. Make sure that he can't come in. Also make sure that things like the Mega Gallade don't really want to come in case we do snag that 10% burn chance. It's pretty unlikely, but you never know. So that's the team. We're going to make a cut here with you guys present. So what I mean is you're about to see my OBS, but you know, that's how life goes. So we're going to jump into Bowling Bovine's battle. Here we are, and you can see me now. And there we go, and the screen is caught up. I apologize about the on-screen editing, but like we're just having to make concessions with my internet at the minute. So Hopefully you guys can see this perfectly fine. It looks like you can to me. So there we go. This is the battle, guys. I know I usually do a cut there, but the cuts, the transitions, the editing, it all adds size to the file, and the bigger the file is, the longer it takes to upload, the more screwed I am. So we have to just wing it. Hopefully you guys are happy. I think consistency in content while losing that little bit of, or adding a little bit of a rough edge is a worthwhile sacrifice in my opinion. Maybe you guys disagree. It may be those team builders get cut completely if this video still ends up being sort of half an hour long, because I talk a lot, it turns out. So, this is the game anyway. We're going to get into the game, and I'm going to try and not rush through the replay, because that's the one bit that I do not want to rush. So, here we can see at team preview, a couple of really important things. One, the Celebi did not come, which means that we never have to click X Scissor on Terrakion. That's amazing, meaning that we pretty much only have to click Bulldoze, which is pretty nice against this team if you look. Okay, this is a ground resist, and this doesn't care about a bulldoze, although it doesn't want to get its speed dropped if it's got chipped already on it. But this doesn't want a bulldoze, this doesn't want a bulldoze, this can't roost on the bulldoze, and this doesn't want a bulldoze. So we are either clicking close combat, rock slide, or bulldoze. All of them hit a lot of his team, so I'm completely okay with that. Next thing we notice at team preview is the fact that the Lantern came and the Rabombi came. I did zero prep for either of these things. I don't know what either of them want to do. And I didn't bring a defogger because I was like, hey, I'm just going to get my rocks up. My team don't really care about rocks too much. I know I have a Salamence and a Togekiss, so that sounds weird. But I'm not really trying to win with them. So I don't care too much about rocks. I want to pressure him to be the defogger with my Toxic Spikes plus rocks on Nico the Nidoking. But what this means is that he could potentially set webs. And that's terrifying. I really don't want him to set webs on me. So, here I'm going to make some dubious plays around this Rabombi because I don't know what to expect from it. And also the Lantern because whilst I don't fear it, it just seems like it could be annoying, especially to like Reuniclus, for example, because it could potentially eat up like a Psyshock for all I know. I don't know what Lantern does. I think it looks nice. It has a nice design, but what does it do? Who knows? Slow Volt Switch, I guess that's what it does. So, because I'm scared of this Rabombi leading with webs, and I have two options to kill it, I can either go for the Togekiss Air Slash Flinch. However, I realise that with Togekiss, I haven't speed crept this thing, I've speed crept Noivern. This thing is 1 point faster than Noivern, I've gone 1 point faster than Noivern, I speed tie with a max speed timid Rabombi. I don't think he would be max speed timid, but I don't want to run that risk, so I'm like, do I want to risk a speed tie? And if he leads with the Nidoqueen, Togekiss is a terrible lead. So we're going to lead with the original plan with Nico. If he leads with Rabombi, I can maybe just go for a flamethrower and hopefully like burn him. That wouldn't stop webs. But, you know, we can go for a flamethrower and put huge damage on this thing. Oh, no, wait, I'm Sheer Force. I couldn't even burn him anyway. What am I talking about? We could just get some big damage off on this thing with the flamethrower, basically. And we can also hit the Nidoqueen if that leads off. So with that in mind, I'm just like, okay, there are his two, like, hazard leads, potentially. Skarmory's his other hazard lead, but like you don't want to take a flamethrower, so I don't think that's a good hazard lead. And if it is, then thank you, we get chip on that thing, and it really can't switch into Terrakion anymore. So we're just going to lead off with Nidoking. And by the way, I should say that the nice thing with Terrakion being banded is that because of my team composition, he's going to be looking at this and he's going to be thinking, okay, so he's got the parting shot. But he's also got 1, 2, 3, 4 potential like sweepers and setup sweepers, so it's really hard. And I think he should be fearing the rock polished Terrakion, which was on my original build. And because of that, I think he might think things like Skarmory can switch into Terrakion when really they can't. So we're just gonna leave with Nidoking. He leads with his Nidoqueen. This is exactly what I anticipated, and we're just gonna go for the Earth Power. And he reveals to be Sugar Berry. And he pops off his own Earth Power, and I'm like, damn, I was hoping he would go for rocks there. I was hoping we could catch him thinking I was going to rock. But this turn, there's no reason for me not to go for my rocks. I figured that he'll probably switch out rather than let me kill it. And if he doesn't, it's okay, because I've got enough chip on the Nidoqueen where it can't really come into a Terrakion close combat anymore. So I'm like, oh, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. That's perfectly fine. So we go out into Salamence as he goes into Skarmory on my Stealth Rock. From Nidoking, and then on this Skarmory, I'm just going to go into Salamence. I figure he may want to defog, but if he wants to like Iron Head or Brave Bird or something, I'm gonna chew that up. But he actually doubles out into Lantern, and I'm like, okay, I wish I had Earthquake on this set, but I can't touch this thing. Aerial Ace and Flamethrower are both resisted, and he just fires off the Ice Beam into Andrew, which I kind of thought he might be running as coverage, and I'm like, damn, okay, this is not good. We're just going to go for the Hypnosis here, and we miss. 55% accuracy, what do you expect? Not going to complain. He gets the crit burn with the Scold. Really doesn't matter. It's fine. Andrew was here to check banded Terrakion. But I had nothing for Lantern, so I knew I was risking it. I knew I was risking one of my checks, and it just seemed the least valuable, because I can always try and like pivot Intimidates on the Tyranitar or something like that. So we fire off another Hypnosis, and we do land it this time. 50-50 chance we land it the second time. Fair enough. Not going to complain. And we just go for a parting shot here, not expecting him to leave his Sleeping Lantern in. I want to get momentum, so we go out into Nico on this thing. We can potentially scare it out with the Fire Blast. And I want to bait in the Lantern again. We do get the Lantern in again, making it take another thing of rocks. Skarmory's taking another thing of rocks. So we're just whittling these things down here. I'm going to click Earth Power. I don't think he's going to go back out into Skarmory. And he just potentially has to pick a sack if I click Earth Power. Doesn't really want to do it with Gallade because 2 Earth Powers is going to hurt it. Doesn't want to take the Flamethrower burn chance either. And we can just go out into Salamence when he does bring in the Gallade for free. Expecting an SD and actually getting hit with an X-Scissor. Now this is really key here. He doesn't go for the Ice Punch. So I'm like, I don't think he has Ice Punch. I'm pretty sure if he has Ice Punch there on the Nidoking, he just pops it off. But he's clearly trying to predict the Reuniclus to come in. So he expected Reuniclus to be the main check for this Gallade. That means that he probably hasn't bothered running Stone Edge either. He's probably got like Zen Headbutt or something along those lines, because I think if you're anticipating Salamence to be the main check, you go for an Ice Punch there into the Nidoking. It kills Nidoking, and it kills this thing. But it looks like he's predicting Reuniclus to be my check. Makes a lot of sense looking at my team composition. So I'm like, okay, we've successfully kind of bluffed that this is the defensive mon here. We absolutely eat that up, and now he can't really stay in on me. I'm just going to go for the Aerial Ace anyway, because I don't like to over-predict. It does bait in the Skarmory, which is perfect. We do 9%. Looks like nothing, but now I can click Fire Blast when he's probably going to stay in. He could go out into the Tyranitar, but, you know, then we potentially get a burn, so that would be fine. We do land the Fire Blast, and we chip this thing down for massive damage, which is really nice. He gets a Toxic off on me. I don't really care too much about that, because the main thing Salamence is here for is that Intimidate, so that's okay. We're just going to fire off another Fire Blast, and we do land that and get 28%. So pretty nice landing 2 Fire Blasts in a row, can't lie about that. And we get big chip off on the Nidoqueen. I don't want to stay in here in case he's got Ice Beam, so I just go out into the Alolan Persian, which gives him his rocks for free. Sucks. If I clicked Fire Blast there, I could have killed this thing. But we would have had to land it, so who knows. And we've clicked Cloud Play because I don't want to give him a free switch into the Gallade. I also don't want to bother Parting Shot on this thing. So this turn, I think I predict him to... no, I don't. I just go for the Foul Play again. And here the Skarmory can roost up on me, and I'm like, that's fine. I thought this would probably be the play, but what this does is it means I can Parting Shot out, making sure he stays in, and I get my Terrakion in for free, and this is what we've been trying to do all game. I will let him have his recovery on his Skarm, because it can't stay in on my Terrakion, and it's got to come back in on rocks, and then it doesn't live to Terrakion anyway, so that recovery is meaningless to me. Here we go for the Rock Slide, just in case he wants to go to Rabombi. I don't want to deal with Rabombi coming in here on a close combat. We're going to do about 50%-ish, maybe, but he's going to outspeed and be a bit of a problem. Can potentially get Webs up or a Quiver Dance, and I do never, ever, ever want that thing to get a Quiver Dance, because here we are at turn 20, and it's starting to occur to me on that turn with the Terrakion. I've been trying to keep that Rabombi out, making sure my rocks are up, everything like that, so that he can't put Webs on me. Wait, we're at turn 20 and he hasn't even brought his Rabombi in. That's not Webs. He'd have had that in by now. This is definitely a Quiver Dance Rabombi, and now I'm like, damn, I need to make sure the Rabombi cannot come in Quiver Dance, because if it comes in Quiver Dances, it potentially just sweeps my whole team. Moonblast kills the Salamence. Togekiss doesn't really want to take hits from it. I don't know what it might be running for Togekiss at the minute. Would probably be fine, but after rocks, it's not ideal. Terrakion doesn't want to take a Moonblast. This doesn't want to take a Moonblast. This doesn't want to take a Bug Buzz. And this is so low that it doesn't want to take anything. So I'm like, okay, if he gets a Quiver Dance up, Togekiss is like my only check, and I get outsped, and I don't know what I take from this thing's like Moonblast potentially. Probably quite a chunk. So I'm not a defensive Togekiss. So I'm having to play at all times just to make sure that Rabombi does not get in. So that's why I went for the Rock Slide there. Yes, it gave him his Mega Gallade, but that's fine. I'd rather his Mega Gallade right now, because I still have checks to that on the field. I have a Scarf Revenge Killer and an Intimidator. I'd rather that than the Rabombi. So he does just go for the SD here, as I go out into Andrew. And we're just going to click Raw here, because the only way he doesn't kill me... He doesn't know that I underspeed him, but the only way he doesn't kill me is if he switches out. And if he switches out, I just want to try and pivot around, because the best switch out seems to be the Rabombi, potentially. And because he might be predicting me to go for a Foul Play, and Rabombi's going to take like nothing to go from a Foul Play. So I don't want the Rabombi in, so I'm just going to Raw. And unfortunately, the exact opposite happens. We Raw out the Tyranitar, and into the Rabombi. But fortunately, with Sand plus Burn and stuff, we are going to drop with Andrew here, which means that this Rabombi really isn't safe. And I am risking a speed tie here, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that I'm an idiot that only speed crept is Noivern. I potentially, if I am Scarf Togekiss, which this screams Scarf Togekiss, then I could outspeed this Rabombi. I have to click Air Slash here. It's my most accurate move. I would love to click Fire Blast and predict something else coming in, but there's really no reason to. I'm just going to click Air Slash. It's my best chance of killing the Rabombi, because if I click Fire Blast and miss, and he Quiver Dances, he wins. So like, there's just no way I can do that. So I just click Air Slash as he goes out into Tyranitar. We get 9%, it doesn't overly matter, we're still terrified of this Tyranitar. We haven't really seen anything from it, we don't really know what it wants to do, so we're just potentially going to sack Salamence here for the Intimidate, but he actually doubles out into the Mega Gallade, and this is really annoying because my Mega Gallade check is in, but this is my Mega Gallade check at -1, this is not my Mega Gallade check. Well, I mean, I still could have gone for the, Aerial Ace, to be fair, but looking at this, I didn't expect him to do anything but attack my Salamence straight up, and I didn't want my Salamence to drop just yet. So it seemed better to just sack something, expecting him to attack, and then I could get my Salamence in and drop him to -1. Really, really importantly, because once I drop him to -1, Reuniclus, we've seen he's got X-Scissor, Trick Rooms on this bad boy all day, and maybe just sweeps the rest of the game. So I'm like, okay, this is my win con now. This is the time to go for it. I brought Reuniclus to be a Trick Room sweeper. Now's the time to try and initiate the sweep. We're going to get 4 turns of Trick Room after we set it. He has 4 mons left. We potentially can take them all out, maybe. So let's just go for it. Let's just see if we can get the sweep. So we're going through Reuniclus here. He's at -1. We've put him so low that he definitely can't live a Shadow Ball. He clicks X-Scissor. I know he doesn't have Shadow Sneak at this point because he's revealed Zen Headbutt and he's revealed X-Scissor. And I'm like, he's definitely got Close Combat, so or maybe Poison Jab, but there's no way he's rocking Sneak on this set. So I'm just going to go for the Trick Room. He might have even revealed all his moves at this point. And we can just fire off a Shadow Ball. So really, really nice. He drops here, and I'm like, okay, what is your switch in? He goes into Tyranitar, and I'm like, okay, he's forcing me to try and land a Focus Blast, but actually he just goes for the Protect, and we, I think, land the Focus Blast. Nico tells me that that means that we landed because it hit the Protect. I don't really understand the animations. And we land the second Focus Blast here. He stalls out to the Trick Room, but crucially, he lives. This is Chopal Berry, so he actually, this is a roll. He sent me a set, which was really, really kind of him, and I did the math. This is a 50-50 chance to kill, exactly. Not even like nearly 50. This is a perfectly, from this health he was at, with the spread he has, with the spread I have, under Sandstorm, because that boosts his Spadef, he has exactly a 50-50 chance to live. So, completely fine. It's 50-50. I genuinely can't complain, especially considering we landed the Focus Blast in the first place. He had a higher odds of surviving that turn than I had of killing him, with the chance of Focus Blast missing and the chance of the 50-50 live. So, no real complaints there that he lived. But really, really nice bring on his part, the Chopal Berry. Would have been nice if we'd killed him there. But what's really, really crucial to me was when he clicked Protect, that was perfect, because he stood out a turn of my own Trick Room, which was really, really nice, because I was kind of going balls to the wall with this Reuniclus. By setting Trick Room, I was saying, I'm going to land Focus Blast, I'm going to kill, and I'm going to kill everything else, because none of the rest of my team, Terrakion and Togekiss, don't really want to be in on the Trick Room. So him starting out a turn in my Trick Room was really, really nice for me, because it means if he lives this 50-50 roll, which he does, then I can get Togekiss in endgame out of Trick Room, and that is now my win con. Scarf Togekiss with Fire Blast, this thing's so low, should sweep up. I just have to land the Fire Blasts. He clicks Crunch and kills the Reuniclus. We're going to go out into Dean here. There's no reason not to. If he clicks Crunch, then he gives me a +1, so we're just going to fire off a Close Combat as he clicks a Stone Edge, getting some chip on me. The reason I click Close Combat is because I don't want to risk the Rock Slide miss on the Rabombi if he goes for a Quiver Dance. I think maybe I might be able to live 1 with Togekiss, I'm not really sure. But the best thing that I can think to do here is to make it so that when the Rabombi comes in on rocks, it is a roll. Close Combat is a roll to kill him, and he should know that. Abandoned Adamant Terrakion is a roll to kill him, so he should never go for the Quiver Dance. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Or I want to try and bring in the Skarmory as well, potentially, and that way he can't get a Quiver Dance either. But he just goes for the Moonblast. It makes perfect sense. Like I say, he can't risk the roll. In fact, it's not even a roll, because after Sand he dies. That's why After Sand, he dies, so it means that close combat, if he goes with the Quiver Dance, I definitely kill him. There's no way in hell I don't. If he is like, unless he has like Roost, I guess he could Roost up there and take the close combat plus Sand and then start Quiver Dancing. But nevertheless, I didn't think he would have Roost because I thought he would need coverage moves so that he could hit things like Togekiss potentially. So we just got Togekiss here, and I know that I'm risking a speed tie again. I know that I'm risking a Fire Blast miss, but like I said, I don't think this thing is going to be max speed timid. I think he's going to be speed creeping something, so I'm pretty confident I'm going to not be taking a speed tie. But I do have to land a Fire Blast. If I land this Fire Blast, we should be golden. So I'm just going to fire off the Fire Blast, and we do land it, we do kill. Now this Skarmory can come in. I know I kill with a Fire Blast. I don't know if he even has Iron Head to hit me, potentially not, so I might have 2 or 3 chances to land this Fire Blast. But we do land it first time anyway, and we pick up the KO. Whew, meaning we get a 1-0 win, week 2. So that is 2-0 for the Bone and Bovines in the in OWL this season, and it is 2-0 for the Bellowing Children in OWL this season. So amazing, amazing start to league. We've faced 2 really good players in Sean and Haz. Players that I respect a lot, players that I just really like, friends, and I'm always like, the reason that I love this community is it's always nice to go up against friends and see that kind of like friendly atmosphere, that kind of fun game. So yeah, and to come out on top in both 2 very different scorelines, obviously going from the 6-0 Trick Cream Sweep to the 1-0 Scarf win at the end. One thing that I would say in this game, it would be foolish of me not to acknowledge it, is that I did get a little bit lucky. Fire Blast has an 85% chance, and I think I landed 4 Fire Blasts, 2 with the Terrakion, 2 with the Terrakion, 2 with the Salamence, and 2 with the Togekiss. How much that mattered long game, one of the Salamence ones I don't think mattered at all, if I remember correctly, as it was on the Nidoqueen, which we were dropping anyway. So it didn't make too much difference. Maybe because we killed it with a Rock Slide, maybe we wouldn't have killed the Rock Slide, but maybe 2 banded Rock Slides we would have killed. Doesn't really matter. Either way, my point is, I did get somewhat fortuitous, landing 4 moves that have a 15% chance to kill, and landing the Focus Blast. However, whilst we landed the 70% Focus Blast, he lived the 50% chance roll. So I feel like that kind of balances out a little bit, especially on the Focus Blast. The fact that we landed it and the fact that he lived to 50, I'm like, that we kind of got even luck there. And the fact that he got the Skull Burn on the Alolan Persian with a crit at the same time kind of sucked early game. Just in terms of reducing my amount of pivot. But as he said to me after the game, it kind of sucked for him because he wanted to set up on the Alolan Persian potentially. So it wasn't ideal for that either. It was just one of these weird things where neither of us were in a great position, although of course the burn made it so that we couldn't foul play him down when he set up as well, which I forgot to mention in the battle. But there we go. So I'm going to shut up because this is supposed to be a quicker video. It's been all over the place. I just woke up not long ago and I'm rambling and this is probably terrible. But the point is, we do win 3-0 this week, the Bellowing Children. Amazing win. Thank you to my teammates for putting in incredible performances in their games. I'm glad I was able to produce a win here, because again, this was the... I don't know how many games it's been now, where I've just built solo, prepped very quickly, and had no mocks or anything. This has not been a thorough prepped game, so really nice that we were able to pick up a W. I really feel like we're starting to consistently play at a higher level now here on the channel, which I think is important going into the future. So, all that being said, guys, GG again to Haz, GG again to Team Skull. Team Skull already know I'm a huge fan of them. I really get on well with all of their team members, and I hope that we can put up a good fight against them in our division this season. They were runners-up last season, so the fact that we have now beaten the runners-up from last season and we sit 2-0 at the top of our group is amazing. I'm going to keep pushing on this season, and hopefully the Bellowing Children can be a force to be reckoned with. The other division does have Team Slask and Dry Attack, which you guys will see coming up, who are, no disrespect to the other teams in the league, but the 2 teams that I particularly fear after playing Team Skull. You know, there is Cloud9, there are other teams that are scary, but Dry Attack and Team Slask, I think, are making a statement and are very scary as well. So, all that being said, guys, thank you so much for loafing around with me, and I'll catch you again next time.